guys, what's up? How's your day going? So today I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about journaling, give you a couple tips and tricks, how I started journaling, and just explain to you like my personal journey of how I started journaling. So I hope that you guys can find some of these tips helpful, and I would love to hear if any of you guys journal and see how you guys journal, because everyone does it differently. So I'm very curious about that. Okay, so without further ado, Okay, so obviously, Alright, so I started journaling about a year and a half ago, and my journey has been pretty good. I used to always hate journaling. I journal, I would write like a couple sentences in it, and then I'd just be like, nah, I don't like it, and I would forget about it in the back of my room somewhere, or lose the journal, just, forget about it. But I started to get pretty consistent with it, so that's pretty fun, and honestly there's been pretty cool benefits of just, seeing my thought patterns, being able to set goals better, just, getting things off of my mind, being able to sleep better. Okay, so where do you start? Personally, when I first started journaling, I had this pretty white bullet journal, and I was always looking through Pinterest and Instagram, and I thought journaling had to be really pretty, like very, lots of colors. It took me forever to do, like, not a lot of actual personal entries, more like a art book, I guess, more or less. So like things like this would take me forever to do, and it was a lot of fun, but it did not benefit me quite a bit, because eventually I didn't actually want to sit down every night to journal, to write about my day, because I felt the need to make it, so pretty, so exact. So what I actually started doing is I got just this old junk journal for like $5 from Winners, and I'll jot down, anything that comes to my mind. It's not pretty, I can just, just write whatever I feel like. Personally, I like to journal at night because I feel like it helps me get my thoughts out, become a little bit clear-headed, and then I don't go to bed laying down and, have a million things on my mind. I do a little brain dump of everything that I gotta do the next day, any intentions, anything I gotta, do eventually, how my day went. I like to reflect on it, stuff like that. Personally, it just helps me clear my mind and be able to get to sleep better, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so like I said, my old journal was very pretty, and I still thoroughly enjoy doing that kind of journaling, but I don't like to do it every day because it's so time consuming. So what I did this year is I got one bullet journal, so I can actually, make things look pretty, kind of, personal growth, just write quotes in it, just anything. What I decided to do though is I wanted to keep this journal strictly for like prettier things, kind of drawing, a little bit more artsy. Yeah, so I bought a new journal because it inspires me to actually write in it, and I would highly recommend for other people to do that too. And I set this one up, like a daily journal, like a diary, so I write in it every day, and I will show you guys how I set that up. Most of my journaling I actually learned through this book. It's called The Bullet Journal Method. It's by Ryder Carroll, and I highly suggest getting this book if you guys want to get a little bit more into journaling, get a little bit of a backstory to it, get better at it, just be able to reflect easier, set goals. I actually set up my new journal according to this book, so I'll explain to you guys how I did that. Okay, so now let's set up my new journal together, shall we? Since it's the middle of the year, I did a future log, and I started with May. So you make little slots for each month, and you just write an overview. So things that you know that you need to do that month, anything important coming up the month, stuff like that. Okay, so the next thing what I like to do is I like to take a page and write which month these next couple pages are for. So this one is going to be May. Sometimes I like to draw a little picture with it, or just, for this month I put an inspirational quote that I really liked. So what I like to do on the next page is I like to do a monthly log. So I like to write all the dates and which day each day is, so I can have a rough overview of like things I need to do, days that I work on, just, what I like to track when I go to yoga, so I like to write that down, things like that. Next page is what I started to set up as my daily log. So daily logs is kind of like your diary entries. So you write the date and then which day it is, and then underneath you just write, whatever comes to your mind. You can do this, start in the morning, do it throughout the day, do it at night, whatever you feel like. So Things that I like to write down are just, you know, how my day went, if somebody said something really important to me that stood out that I'd like to remember and be able to look back on and to reflect. Because honestly, half the time people tell me things and I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome, I like that, but 2 weeks later I'll forget about it because there's so much going on in our minds, so much that we gotta think about that just impossible to remember everything. So I think bullet journaling is really cool too, to be able to remember things, to be able to look back on when you're older. So I hope there were some helpful tips in this video for you guys about how to journal. Just maybe you learned something new, you learned a new tip. So if you found this video helpful, maybe leave a thumbs up, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.